I have a confession to make. I am 50 years old, and I believe in superheroes. I'm serious. They do exist. They are real. Now, contrary to common belief, they do not come from faraway galaxies. They are born here, in our beautiful blue planet. They look like us. They talk like us. They even eat like us. You can find them in every country, in every city, in every town, in every community. You can find them among different professions, like students, teachers, doctors, welders. Now, for some reason, not so much among politicians, but if you are lucky enough, you can even find them among the members of your own family. How do I know? Let me explain. To begin with, because my mom, my own mother, is one of them, but also because I've been a teacher, an educator for more than 25 years. During all this time, I have been able to come across literally thousands of people. And it is during all this time that I have been able to spot, to track, these special people with these talents, these traits, these powers that, make them so different from the rest of us, the mere mortals. Ever since I was a kid, I have been obsessed with these superhumans. Who are they? Where do they come from? How do they get or lose their superpowers? And most importantly, can I get those superpowers? Can we all become superhuman? But it was only until I became an educator, and especially an elementary school principal, that I was able to find them. I'm going to show it to you, Now remember, I said it's among little kids that it's easier to see these superpowers. Maybe because the little kids, they don't know how to disguise themselves yet. But maybe it's because, like all little kids, they just don't care. But let's talk about a superpower like supervision, right? Supervision is the power to see beyond the human eye, beyond the limits. But if this power is developed, is grown, it becomes creativity, imagination, vision. And that is the superpower that the greatest minds in humanity have used to shape the fate of mankind. Supervision, for sure, was the power that the poet was referring to when he said, "The world is full of magical things, just waiting patiently for our senses to sharpen." I'm going to give you another example, Super strength. The power to exert a force or lift weights beyond human capacity. Well, we know what little kids can do. They can force much bigger and stronger adults to do whatever they want. But also, super strength is grit, perseverance, determination, agency. The same power that 6-year-old Ishmael Sulfik used to overcome his disability. You see, he was born with no arms and a deformed foot. But with the help of his parents and his coach and his superpower, he became a Paralympic swimming champion. Super strength is also the same power that Malala used to come back after being shot to continue her fight so 130 million girls have access to education. Invisibility, the power to render yourself, and most importantly, please listen, your own actions unseen. But seriously though, invisibility is the ability to lose yourself if necessary to save the lives of others. It's compassion, generosity, empathy. It's the same power that our first responders, the men and women in uniform in our country, use to risk their own lives to save others. And it's the same power that my invisible friends from Cherokee Collective and the Canton Rotary Club use every single day when we call them to help us with the needs of our little ones. Listen, these are real powers, And these are the powers that my favorite superheroes use every single day, and those are the teachers and staff at Hasty Elementary School with the kids in my school. Now, I am not making this up. Actually, scientists at the Character Lab at Yale University have been studying what they call human strengths, human powers. And they have divided them in 3 domains: the powers of the will, the powers of the heart, and the powers of the mind. The powers of the will are the intrapersonal powers, or being powers, okay? They help you stay connected to your true self, to who you are, and they help you reach your goals. Examples are grit, self-control, resiliency, agency. The powers of the heart are the ones that are interpersonal, or giving powers. They help you relate to others, build communities, societies. Examples are gratitude, kindness, compassion, empathy. The powers of the mind are the intellectual, or knowing superpowers, and they help you wonder, reason, create. Examples are curiosity, humor, creativity, and imagination. The interesting thing here is that we all, superheroes or not, seem to be born with a basic form of these superpowers, okay? But for some reason, they start to weaken during childhood. They continue to fade away during adolescence, and finally they disappear somewhere around the age of 30. And now listen, I am not a scientist, okay? And these are just mere observations. But my guess is that that has something to do with what psychologists call the illusion of the self. When we are kids, we don't care much about the world but ourselves, right? But then we start building our self-identity, right? You know, the me versus you, me versus the world. And it is in building this self-identity that we create our mental mind frames, our mindsets. Those mindsets, that self-identity is going to depend on our experiences, right? But also is going to depend on the environment we grow up in. Something is going wrong, okay? Because today, we are facing what everybody is calling the social and emotional crisis of our generation. Look, 48 million. That's the number of Americans that live with some sort of mental illness, from anxiety to stress to borderline personality disorders, psychosis. In America, more than 10 million adults have serious thoughts of suicide. More than 2 million youth live in depression. And listen to this. Every day, around 3,000 high schoolers attempt suicide. This that we are living here is happening everywhere, all around the world. We are living a true global mental health epidemic. But listen, there's good news. There is hope. Because there is a fundamental idea in medicine and psychology that the path, the direction our life takes is going to depend on 3 things, okay? Number 1, how we manage our challenges in our environment. Number 2, how we protect our body vulnerabilities. And number 3, how we grow the mental resources in our mind. Now, we know that we cannot always control our environment or our bodies, right? But we can definitely control the resources in our mind. And one thing that I noticed about superheroes, remember them? Is that while their superpowers may vary, they all have super mindsets. So if you remember, a mindset is a particular way of thinking. You know, it's like a theory, a model that we make of the world and of ourselves. A mindset is made of thoughts. Our thoughts influence our beliefs. Our beliefs determine our feelings and emotions. And depending on how we feel, believe, or think, we act in the world. Now, this is a self-amplifying loop, which means that if you have a fixed mindset, you are going to have difficulties in life. If you have a growth mindset, then you are going to have a lot of opportunities. So the key here is to grow our mindsets, right? How do we do that? We grow our mindsets by growing our thoughts. And it doesn't matter if you are a superhuman or not. We all can grow our mindsets. Now, to do that, we need to use a cognitive tool, a tool of the mind that is language. Language allows the mind to know what it's thinking. It is through language that not only we understand, describe the world, but we can create the world. You are the language you use. The language, the world is made out of words. If we know the words the world is made out of, then we can make it whatever we wish, said McKenna. Guys, listen. Your identity is a story. Your life is a story. Reality is a story. And what I'm inviting you here to do is to write the story of your life. What do we get from the past? Our memories, right? What do we get from the present? Our experiences. What do we get from our future? Our hopes, our goals. So what I'm asking you is to create a portal, like in Avengers, right? And travel into the past, find those memories, especially the ones of trauma, of introversion, of neurosis, and fix them. Heal them. Heal your wounded self. And then cross back over into the present, transform, okay? Powerful, and then engineer, determine, shape, define your present. And also, yet again, fly into the future and decide, dream, weave the kind of life that you want to live. It is through the power of language that you can change the stories of your life. You get to choose the characters, the plot, the setting, the journey, and most importantly, the endings. Now, remember how I told you that I am old enough to know that a beautiful story about superheroes is going to change our life? I know it's not, okay? But I'm also wise enough to understand that we need education and learning to be able to grow our mindsets, to use the power of language to really transform our reality. It's when we connect to our true self that we are going to be able to change the lives we live, okay? So what I'm inviting you to do is look at education from a different perspective. The education of the 21st century needs to empower you to have a self-narrative, a self-story of well-being, of agency, limitless possibilities, where you can grow and be successful as individuals, but also as members of a society that is changing all the time, under the understanding that more than human beings, you are human becomings. And then, my friends, when you connect to the true self with capital S, you can be that and much more. You can hack your life. You can engineer your reality. You can be flow writers. You can be social architects. You can be whatever you wish to be. You know, the other day, I was talking to my mom, right? And I asked her, I said, "Hey, Mom, please tell me, okay? Am I ever, going to be super?" And she looked at me and said, "Really? You're too old for that," she said. "Just instead, keep working hard, follow your purpose and your passion, and you're going to be fine." And then she did what all superheroes do. She went. And I knew that we all were born superhumans. Now I have only one more question. What are we going to do about it? Thank you.